Welcome back. Got you on the old hand mount right now to show you some stuff. I'll show you what I've got done this week. Not as much as I've liked, but we did get some stuff accomplished. First and foremost, went and got the quarters cut, and what I did here was a piece of tape, put a second piece of tape, used that as my cut line, pulled the first piece, and then I folded the lip. It still needs to be squared up the rest of the way. And let me walk you over here. This side, and we got this one cut, and it's partially folded. I have to deal with what was left of the gas tank mount up here, or gas tank, the gas filler. I got to get that pulled out of here so I can get that folded up the rest of the way. Ooh, sorry about that. And then I still got to do this lip here. Got a mouse nest to remove. Did get the cross member top half. It's all, my son got that welded in for me yesterday. Really didn't film anything. We really weren't doing much of anything. He decided just he'd get it welded in while he was here. And you can see I'm starting to work on some floor structure. So let me walk you back on the other side where I've got more room to explain what's going on. So, get around the back side here. Got a piece of 1x3 cross member here. That gets welded in. I got 1x1 that I'm starting to build the outer framework with. Ties all the way up to that front cross member. Then what I'm going to do from here is, let me get you, let's go in on the inside of here and I can show you more. All right. A lot of this week has been figuring out how I'm going to do the coil, and I'm pretty sure I've got a train of thought going here. As you can see on the glass, roughly the axle is going to be, center line is going to be right here. And I'm going to need to get my laser out and get all that stupid stuff. This corner is going to need cleaned up yet. I'm going to plan on cleaning this up, dropping the old seat belt out. I need to drill out these spot welds, get these pieces removed. Then I'm going to cut a piece of 1-inch square tube and weld it along this lip here. And then I'm going to clean up along here because I want a piece of square tube to come up from here, angled to the bottom of that. The same thing will take place up in here. And then the spring will sit in a bucket right here. So that'll weld up underneath here and then be gusseted back to the sides here. Big plate up in here, which will be welded across in here. Then I got to figure out the shock tower. And what idea is at the moment is the shocks will be outside of the springs. So I'll have this 1-inch square piece here. I'll be able to weld some tabs to it for shocks. Then 1-inch square tube coming down on either side at an angle. And then I'll be bringing, there's be more floor structure in here, which obviously I'm not putting in right now because it would inhibit my access. But there'll be more 1-inch in here to box the top of the coil mount, and I'll bring more angle or square tube in here and build a box. So there'll be a bit of a structure in here angled that'll be the bracing for the coil and the bracing for the shock tower. That will triangulate it coming from here and out, so everything should be good to go. as far as strains. Shouldn't go anywhere. Coming around. Oh, I'm hooked. Got this all tacked in. Still gonna make the outside piece. This needs cut down. We'll do that later. Again, same things over here. Drill out spot welds, drop this out. And this is what's left of the filler area. And I think I'm just gonna have to continue this line and just cut this whole piece tab out of here and just that. It is what it is. I wish I didn't have to do that, but you have to go with what you're given. This is what Jeep gave me. Same thing would go off in the corner here. Same idea over in here. That's what we got going on right now. I do have the Sterling outside, so let me crawl out of here. I'll show you what my ideas, what I got going for it. All right. Beautiful weekend. The weather was supposed to be nasty, raining all weekend, but it's been really, really nice. So, got the Sterling set up here. Obviously, you're going to have to cut the old leaf mounts off. Shock mounts will come off. Then I need to make a truss. And I'm not sure. I built one on that rear steer one I did a couple of years ago, and I just feel that's going to be too high. So I'm going to have to start from scratch here. I really would like this to come fairly flush with the top here. Come down, tie in to just inside where the coil bucket will be. Same thing on the other side. I should be able to put shock tabs out here. Should be plenty of room for the back spacing once I measure up, maybe over in here. I've still got to finalize my measurements and make sure I'm not going to cross X with Y and get interference. We'll see what happens with that. I have decided for now that given this is a budget build and I got to stay within the terms of the Bleepin' Jeep challenge. Even though we haven't gotten the wild card or not, I still got to build to the challenge. Is I'll stay with the 430 gears that are in here, and then with the front axle. Now this is a track lock rear end at the moment, but I do have an open Sterling rear end that I've welded up. I may put that in. I haven't made that determination yet. Other fronts. I am planning here to take a couple of weeks off of the build, and I will get the last things done I need to do on the supercharger build here. I gotta get all the extra holes filled and some hardware, but that it should be about ready for me to install on the blue Jeep, which is currently sitting over here. Now, that's had a few issues here lately as well. Front tire was leaking. I finally got that sorted out. Fortunately, I had to actually put some Fix-A-Flat in it to seal it up. It was just, there was a pinhole in it. I couldn't figure out where it was. So, given it's not a street-driven Jeep, I mean, it does see some street time. It seems to be working. I do have the spare, but it's actually cupped really bad. If it comes down to it, I'll pull it off and transfer it over, because that is still the 5 lug rims from when I had the half-duty axles, half-ton axles in it. Also, after 30-some years, the fan motor has finally given up the ghost, and I need to get a replacement motor for the cooling fan. Oh, sorry about that. The wife started hollering at me, and the back door open, and we needed to let the dogs out, so she was giving me a heads up. The dogs may come racing out the front yard. Anyway, I'm not doing a whole lot at the moment. It is Easter, and I have plans with family for this afternoon. So we will pick this up later this evening once all the festivities are over, and we'll see you then. Welcome back. Had a wonderful Easter with the family. Got to see the granddaughter and some of her cousins and everything. Real good time. Got a little time here yet to work. I think I'll get the seatbelt off, get these spot welds drilled off, this knocked off, and I've got my laser set up. So this is the line I want to cut and the material I want to remove. So we'll get that done. Whew, sorry, tired. Been running chasing a 2-year-old, almost 3-year-old. So let's get this removed first. Easy enough. I wonder where they all went. There we go. Don't need this, don't need that. Right down there. There. Pull that clip off. Go on, save the clip and the bolt. Come on. There we go. I save hardware like mad. I got a big drawer full of it. Never know when it might come in handy. At this point, let's get this drilled out. This should be fun. I forgot my chisel over here. So excuse me while I climb all over my jungle gym once more. Reach my body hammer just because I'm here. And this is why I'm not filling the middle of this in until I need to. Those are out of the way. There's my ears. Ear protection on. Get this cut. I'll start working on getting a piece of 1 inch across the top here. Will be a neat trick. Cutting this with my laser in the way, or with me in the way of the laser. Maybe if I'm outside, that'll work. Oh yeah, that should work. There we go. That allows me to bring a piece up here, a piece to go across here. I got a long piece over there, clamp. And I only have a couple of long pieces left, and I need one left for over here. I may have to stitch a few pieces in for this, which is fine. This is what's going to happen here. So that puts that there. I got a magic marker. I need to figure out a piece. Let's see, I can turn the laser off. Figure out the piece to go across here. Got Colt on the TV in his new Comanche build. And we are about 13.5 inches. a slight angle, but I think I'm okay if I cut it fairly square, because it's not that much of an angle. We'll make it about a 1/16 longer just because. This particular case, close enough is good enough. Go. There. Add grease. Don't know why I still got my ears on. And we'll get this all tacked in here. Bring it in from underneath. On there. I don't want to put too much on here, because obviously I've got to finish out this piece. But that'll hold it in place. And then I'll backfill in a piece across there maybe. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do entirely in the back half here yet. I want to narrow it. Definitely the whole taillight area is coming out. I also want to maintain the sealing properties of the hatch. So let's still get a little bit of configuring to go on. Plus I need to clean this edge up to weld that on. So I probably shouldn't attack that, but it is what it is. It's not going anywhere now. How much longer of a piece do I need though? Here's my little piece. That's that. And let's see. If I sorry about it, guys, but this is a lot of this build. And some of it I've got figured out. The suspension, framework, as far as the rails, sliders, and the cage, I pretty much got all that knocked out and sorted out. I know exactly what I'm doing. But this part of it is more on the fly. So there's some head scratching, some mistakes, but we learn as we go. That's why I don't do the same thing every, don't do this and then copy it over here on this side. I'll figure out one side at a time and then duplicate the other side once I figured out all the dumb things I did. So From here, I want, or the plan is to bore over this post here 1 3/4 inch hole. Same thing on this side. So, and then there'll be a matching hole up through the roof that I can drop in the roll bar, which will then get seated on the bottom here, so it's all, can't crush, can't do anything, can't go anywhere. And then obviously get welded here. So somewhere I have a piece of round tube, but it's out of reach and I'm not going to climb over to get it right now. So pretend there's a piece of 3/4 inch round, or 1 3/4 round going up here at the moment. I need to tie it in down here, but I need to make structure here, and maybe I'm overthinking some of this. And I know I probably am. Now that I'm looking at it and thinking about it, what I need to do is, initial thought was bringing this all the way down here. But you know what? I don't need to do that. What I need to do is bring a piece that follows that edge. So if I bring another piece of tube, it's going to be a compound angle on me, but that's all right. That comes forward for the leading edge of the new wheel tub, but then also comes back to here. We can do this. And this piece is actually long enough for me to do what I want to do. So that's what we're going to do here. I just got to figure out how it's about doing it. So, I'm guessing, and that's pretty close because it's really only about 1 inch over. That would be, push that up there, to there. And if I push that out to there, angle's pretty close. Like I said, some of this is on the fly, and I'd love to line it up. I'll probably do that. Match that angle there. Which will put me up here, which is fine. The OCD side of me would really love it in line with this. But the way things are shaking out here, that's just not going to do it. So, it is what it is. Anyway, that said, somewhere I have my Sharpie. I know this is going to go up here. Leaving like farther than that. I'm good here. Angle that there. And there's my angle. There. So, Sharpie lid. And I know this is going this way. I'm just visualizing my half my angle here. That's got to get cut there. Dee. That's going to tilt there, so this is going to be longer, so I need to cut it on the bottom side of this because it's going to tilt this way. See what all this is? This is fun. That's why so much stuff takes so long too. And I'll tell you what, flat wheel's not going to do it. Let's grab the correct grinder. Goes there. Chair back. Being hunched over just really, really hard on my back. Part about getting older. It is what it is, but boy, it stinks. That's there, that's there. And I'm pretty sure that goes there. Clank. I got a little bit of a gap. I need to cut this angle back a little bit. Angle cleaned up here. That's better. That's actually pretty good. Gaps are weldable. Get that up. Now where I put my hood. Get this son of a gun tacked in place. Buzz together, tack this back up back here. Come on, no way. Forward just a hair. And I'm sure welders are freaking out or whatever. I'm okay with that. Thin wall tubing, I find it better just to zap, let it cool second, zap, cool second. Otherwise it gets really hot and it gets molten and everything just moves and shifts and everything. So I'm literally trying to just do heat control. It's getting welded. No question about that. And again, like I said, I'm an electrical engineer. I fix industrial tooling. I never claimed to be a welder. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. Sagging my foot on the fuel line. So that's in there. That's ready to tack in there. As you can see, I'm just rebuilding this structure. So I'll be able to take material, come in here, box it off, and I am lower under here. I'll figure that out by taking advantage of having the ability to seal this off the front of it. That means I'm watertight. So, oh, change videos, I think, because now we got grind hard plumbing. Unless they're taking part of the same video, must have changed. Anyways, it's late Sunday night. Just a short video. This is what we're going to be doing throughout the week. Is figuring out this side. So I will. The next video will be working out from here the upper coil mount and the structure in here for the shock. From there, we also have figured out how I'm going to truss the Sterling. I do have joints coming. Due to the budget constraints, I already had a set of a 3-link setup for the front that I had on my blue Jeep. But when I went to tons, I went to slightly longer arms, about 2 inches longer. So I'd already taken the Heims out and reused them in my new links. But I still have the old links. And since I can redo this and change the mount locations, I might be able to put the axle where I really want it, because I'm going to put it roughly where it is on the blue Jeep, which is about a 4-inch stretch from stock. The steering box will also have to move forward. And then we're going to plate everything, do the standard stuff that you do on the front of an XJ. For this build, I really, to stay within budget, ideally I would love to continue on with this stuff, and I have enough of it, but I think the time frame and everything else involved, I don't know if it's worth it in the end, especially since this is already as tight as it's getting. But back to the joints, I did go with Heims up front. I bought a 4-link Heim set. And what I'm going to do is use 6 for the front. And then back here, I bought Barnes poly bushings. And the lower links will be fixed with bushings. The upper links will be bushings on the axle end with a Heim joint up here for the upper. So it'd be slums, some adjustability. I know I don't have the articulation I would have with Johnny joints and or Heims, but it's a budget thing. At the same time, I'm looking for material to build the links out of. I want to do 2-inch square stock, quarter wall. I did go to the steel yard Saturday. They didn't have anything long enough, so they didn't have anything round either. So that at the moment is up in the air. But I'll find something to use that stays within budget. And again, these links will just be in, really you'll just be in here for the Beast Wars build challenge. They're not a long-term solution. I will go to Johnny Joints or Heims, probably Heims in proper DOM links later on. Especially like if I don't get the wild card, Heims are $55 a piece for all the needed pieces. The insert and the misalignments and the lock nuts. The joints are $13. It's not a big deal. $80 in joints, and I'm not going. I may not reuse. It is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll pick up next week with building this framework out, getting duplicated over here, and like I said, getting the upper coil buckets. After that, once that's done, we'll get into doing the truss, and hopefully by then I'll find some material to build the links so we can get the axle put into place. Now we'll get this thing back on its wheels. I don't know if I mentioned, my apologies. I did pick up a set of 4 rims, new, from Summit Racing, 17x9. I think they're Vision, 8-hole wheels. I kept looking and looking for something stock. There really wasn't anything that fit what I wanted to do, so I just had to spend the money and buy $100 wheels. So I got $400 in new wheels for this. It's gonna be under $400 to put bead locks on them. I'm going to have to go back to the spreadsheet, and again, this is a whole balance. This entire build, and everybody that's going to be doing this, whether they're one of the 6, I guess 7 now, because they had a tie for 3rd on the second video, and the wild card. So that's 7. So there'll be 8 of us potentially, unless Matt opens it up to more wild cards. Every one of them is going to be doing the same thing. You're going to have budget. There's your max, 5,000. Then you're going to have your want list, and then you're going to have your need list, and going to have to reconcile the two to meet that budget. So it's all about compromise on these builds. Spending money where you have to spend the money. Compromise where you can make compromise. Anyway, next week, more to come. Stick around. It's going to be an exciting build. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time. That was Garage. We're out of here.